what I'm going to cover right now is that I was getting questions from students saying, I'm not going to grow a hybrid because I don't want to deal with GMO. And so understanding the differences and why you would pick each one is really important to you. There are points where you might want an heirloom. An heirloom, I'm going to just do it this way. And a hybrid. And I'm going to use heirloom, but it's also called open pollinated. Sorry. Okay, open pollinated. Now, an heirloom, let's start with that. Way back in the 50s, people started doing hybrids. And hybrids mean that you might get some more than a normal heirloom, but I guess, can we just stop? Okay, I'm going to start them. Give me a minute. There, okay. Now, heirloom. It's also called open pollinated. Heirloom actually is a named open pollinated. Open pollinated means when you breed one type, which would be, I'd say, a brandywine. It's a tomato that tastes amazing. To a brandywine. And tomatoes are self-fertile. The only thing that can pollinate is a bumblebee out here. So the bumblebee will get on it and shake it like to get the pollen out, so it's ripping kind of. And the thing is, so when we have our native plants, the bumblebees are there. So people are always like, I want all the vegetables. I'm pulling out the poppies. I'm pulling out this. And the problem is, then you're starving your poor bumblebees. So I always encourage people to leave the poppies. Leave the native plants in your garden if you can somewhere. They will come and help you with giving you more vegetables. So again, a plug for the amazing things that we have in the bumblebees. And also, I see, and when we walk around and you look at houses and there's mostly grass and some shrubs, we're creating dead zones. So when we create places for other animals like birds and insects, then we're sharing it with making a more vibrant community that is not just people, but animals and plants and also insects. So I'm a big one on saying leave some of them there, even in your vegetable garden. So now you've got a brandywine. If I save seed, okay, if I've done a brandywine to a brandywine, what am I going to get? Brandywine, yep. So I've got a brandywine. So the only way you save seed is open pollinated. Why is that? Because I would say, does everybody know what a Labrador looks like? I have a dog. It's a nice, lovely hunting dog, so I'll put Lab. And if you join it with a poodle, you get a Labradoodle. Oh. Okay, and I will just put, I don't even know. I'll put poodle, Labradoodle, poodle. So, you get the good qualities of good-natured size of the lab, the shape of the lab. You get their quiet nature, kind, loving nature. And the poodle's a really smart animal, but it has a coat that doesn't shed. So you get a non-allergic, sweet kind of dog, and it's really popular. However, if you I'll just put LB, okay, LP, I mean. And so if you put an LP plus an LP, you do not get, you get one dog here that has more poodle shape. In other words, you're going to get every range of the spectrum. So what did the growers do? They might get a tomato that has disease resistance. Maybe it's not the best tasting one. Okay, and maybe it produces a lot of fruit, so the yield is amazing. Okay, you're going to get tons of tomatoes if you plant this. So the celebrity. is a wonderful tomato. It has disease resistance also to things like root knot nematode, which usually takes any tomato down. Meanwhile, Brandywine, it gets any sort of fungus in the soil, gone. I mean, yellows, big time. I mean, it's fragile as anything. Incredible flavor, but, and here's the other problem. If you go flavor up, its inverse proportional is opposite, is another way of saying it, and the yield goes down on tomatoes. So here you are, you want some Brandywine, you want your black Krim, you want your delicious zebras, all of them amazing, and they taste, and if you're doing a salsa and you're having this incredible marble stripe, which is yellow and red and green stripes on it, and then mostly yellow and red, and then you've got this maybe yellow pear that has a nice texture, and it has a lovely toothsome because it's a cherry. It's a little more, cherry's a little more firmer. And then maybe this green zebra has a little lemony tang. And then you take a Brandywine with this incredible flavor, and you do all those up and you put them in a salsa. Oh, you've got all these flavors, all these colors, delicious. But many of them disease resistant, not resistant in there. So the flavor goes up, the yield goes down. So maybe you're going to get 3 Brandywine tomatoes for the whole season, maybe 5. Whereas Celebrity will be producing out its ears. Flavor isn't all that, it's good, but not a Brandywine. So what do we do here? We grow Celebrities and we grow Brandywines. That way your Brandywine may cut out on you, but your Celebrity will keep going. So hybrids, you can't save the seed because it will give you maybe that tomato that wasn't red enough or it wasn't tasty enough, or it may give you one of the hybrids that tastes like it, but you're not going to know what you're getting. So there's a reason people want hybrids. The commercial people, they're going to do hybrids. They got to make a living. Why do you think that heirloom tomatoes are $5 a pound and your regular tomatoes are much less? Because they don't produce. They've got to make the money they are for this, so they got to charge you more. So hybrids have their place. They do not act like GMOs. GMOs is when you would take an animal gene, like a jellyfish. So I'll put animal, or any sort of outside gene. It's not even in the same. So they'll insert. I'll put insert gene using an agrobacteria. At least that's when I last read. And so they had the flavor saver tomato, I think. They had a jellyfish gene because it lasts long. So I have people saying, I don't want to grow GMO. And I say, well, right now it's in beets, sugar beets. It's a special beet. And then there's also in soybeans. And it's also in corn. And it's also in potatoes now, which is kind of like, I only say that because it's supposed to hide any browning. So it can be bruised, but you won't know it. And so I think they're trying to work in other things, but that's what I know so far. So it's a sugar beet that's used commercially, I think, for this one. So there's been promise given about GMOs. Right now, what they wanted is to use them against weed killers so that these don't uptake the weed killer as much. So they will have GMO Roundup Ready soybean, and they don't pick up the glyphosate, the Roundup, as much as other plants, so they can survive being sprayed with it. So what happens is they don't necessarily thrive as much as another one because their uptake of nutrients is less. So in droughts and stuff, they're not necessarily drought tolerant or produce more, but they can take the spraying, which means that these people are not having to use the gas to, weed their fields. It also means that that they can do no-till. When they would grow, say, soybeans, which will put fertilizer in the soil, then they can hit it with Roundup, and then they can put in alfalfa, and they can do crop rotation. And when there's not Roundup Ready beans, they can rotate, and the glyphosate will mean that they don't till the ground, and it may provide better ecology for the ground. So there's a lot of reasons people are saying, well, this is it. I did do some research, and for the UC, the University of California, GMO is the way to go. They're very pro-GMO. My only concern is that I did some finding on Morgellons. It's a disease where people think something is eating them from the inside. And they've always thought it was mental illness until someone noticed a white hair and they did a DNA test on it, and it was agrobacteria. So the people actually have a growth under their skin of a bacteria, and that's actually what Morgellons is that they've discovered now. So it's slightly on the rise. It's not monumental proportions, but it is something that is on, no one is testing that I can find does the plants carry the agrobacteria? I haven't seen any studies yet. So I'm just throwing that out at you so that you can make decisions on them. Right now, most corn has GMO. If you want to, you have to look for a corn that says it's non-GMO from a place. But mostly we are growing right now, and we will be doing hybrids and heirlooms. And we're starting our growing in that we have a wide variety of plants. Maybe one of them will go down, but another one will do great. Maybe the year is going to be extra hot. We're going to still have plenty of plants for everybody.